Welcome to FNBO's Fridays in the Field. I'm Clay Patton as we make our final trip to Max Creek Winery and Vineyard just outside Lexington, Nebraska. It's been an exciting growing season, one that has been filled with knowledge for me as I've learned more about the wine industry as well as the vineyards, growing grapes hardy to Nebraska's unique climate. Joining us again, of course, is Max McFarland. And Max, we've been in the vineyard, we've been back in the bottling area. Harvest just concluded in our last episode, or we're kind of in the thick of it, but it's since concluded in the last couple weeks. So I thought, let's talk about the end product, what makes it kind of the rubber meet the road, and that is great Nebraska wines, ciders, beers, all of it produced right here in-house at Max Creek. So I think the best place to start for us today is just go over kind of what is the top three, whether it be the top three selling, your top three favorite. Kind of give us an overview of the top three products here at Max Creek.
All right, well, thank you. First of all, it's so nice to be talking about the end product. It's final. This is what's made it all worthwhile. All since last winter when the pruning began, and then all through the growing season. And I can't believe that we're here at this point already, 1st of October. But a lot of people feel like, well, we get the grapes out of the vineyard, and then it's time to relax. It's downtime, and quite the contrary. We're in full mode of winemaking. The whole fermentation process is going crazy back there, and this ultimately then becomes the end product. Several of them out here because many of these are our best sellers. When you talk about the top three, our number one seller is the Buzzard Roost Blush, named after Buzzard's Roost over here north of Eddyville, north of Lexington here, just a few miles. That's a very popular wine. When you ask me about mine, that's a tough call. I have several favorites. I kind of like it on the drier side, and most people like it a little on the sweeter side, and I do too. But my preference is the drier side. In fact, my favorite white is this guy, FJ's Reserve, named after my father-in-law, and it's a Chardonnay style wine, but it's made with Nebraska grapes. And because of that, it has very unique flavors that you just don't find in Chardonnays. But it's a dry wine, which means in this business, dry is the opposite of sweet. And so there's no sweetness, residual sweetness left in this wine. It's been about 3 years in French oak barrels. So we give it just a wisp of oak. That kind of mellows out some of the acidity in the wine, gives it a nice vanilla-y, buttery context to the wine itself. A little bit of tannin, which is that sharpness, kind of feels like cottonmouth. Anyway, it's an awesome white wine. I like that one a lot. My other favorite, if you'd ask me, happens to be our Fortified Wine. And it's very unique to Nebraska because they made the laws very unique. There's a lot of places you get fortified wine, and what they do is dump distilled spirits into wine to jack up the alcohol level and call it fortified. We have to produce the wine, sell it to a Nebraska distillery. They distill it. We buy our wine back as brandy, and it goes into the oak barrels. And then, depending on when the winemaker says it's time, that gets blended back into a semi-sweet red wine made out of the same grapes that the brandy was made out of. So it is very unique. It's about 18% alcohol. It's a nice dessert wine. Lovely.
Wow, just amazing, the products. And timing is such a big thing when it comes to whether it be out in the vineyard, working the grapes, being ahead of the birds like we saw in our last episode. With that though, the grapes that you have right now in the fermenter, the ones we've been following all growing season, when will we see them as a final product out on the shelf? That's
a good question. It really depends on the style and type of wine that the winemaker's making with that. Some of the semi-sweets, such as the Buzzard, such as our Flatwater would be another example, our Irish Jig would be an example. Those will be the first ones to usually make their appearance, and that typically would be somewhere shortly after the first of the year, springtime. As I said, some of these others spend some time aging in oak, anywhere from a year to 3 years, and so obviously that it's quite a bit longer before they make their appearance.
So definitely have to constantly be thinking with that, but it's also it's an interesting supply management situation that creates, but you guys are handling that with a variety of events year-round here at the winery, and one's coming up is Mactoberfest. Kind of talk to us, it sounds like that's a play on Oktoberfest.
Yep, it certainly is. We have a lot of good things planned for Mactoberfest. It's actually 2 weekends in October, gosh, we've got food trucks coming in. We've got music bands, groups coming in. We have a local group, the OK Sisters, on the first weekend of Mactoberfest, and we have polka band on the second one. We'll have our wines available, of course. The brewmaster is frantically getting some brews ready. So it'll be a good time.
Always exciting, the things that we learn. Max, it's amazing how far we've come in this journey this year in our Fridays in the Field, being able to watch from the growing season to the production, now to the final result as well. But as we close out, get your final or closing thoughts for us.
You know, this has been an exciting journey with you this year. I can't believe we're already there, and we're bedding down the vines, if you will. We've got them sprayed. They're going into the winter healthy and happy, and we want them to go to sleep now. And we'll start working with them in January, and here we go for another year after that. So it's an extremely rewarding labor of love. Wouldn't change it for a thing. Not that it's always a good year, but it's like anything else in agriculture. Always, I think people tell me I'm a true farmer now because I'm always looking for better things next year, and can't wait till next year.
That's Max McFarland, Max Creek Winery and Vineyard, located near Lexington, Nebraska. What an exciting trip we've been able to take with this year's Fridays in the Field, brought to you by FNBO, the Great Big Small Bank.